Hello there guys, and welcome to another Forza Horizon 5 video on my channel. We are currently in the spring hot season of Series 30 Lunar New Year in Forza Horizon 5 Mexico, so I am back to guide, hopefully, you all to success with another full festival playlist walkthrough with the usual seasonal advice containing all you need to know before tackling the challenges. I will, as per my style of guide, include all of my tips and tricks for each and every individual event, as well as my suggested cars and tunes to help you hopefully help you on your way to completion, with the additional feature of some gameplay specifically for the PR Stunts, so I hope you look forward to that. Before we jump into the playlist and its events, I would like to address how we'll approach this walkthrough, and of course I do want to thank you for joining the Shylo gaming virtual community, so do not hesitate to like and subscribe if you like what you see and you wish to see more guys like this in the coming weeks as well as other content. I'm always here to help in the comments or on Xbox or Discord as well should you need my assistance or guidance on anything, so feel free to ask any questions you'd like about the content of the videos I make, and if you want to offer any constructive suggestions regarding future content, please do so as you wish to. So, like our usual structure, we'll be starting off by looking at the season and series rewards, just so you know what you're aiming for, I suppose. So without any further ado, let's begin. Starting off with this week's seasonal rewards, we have our 20 points and 40 points rewards, which are achieved out of a total of 75 points for the whole season. These rewards are typically new exclusives with the current update or other hard-to-find exclusives reappearing from previous updates that are highly sought after by the community and hence are returning to the festival playlist for another chance to unlock. So our 20 points reward at present is the MG7, which has been added in with this update, and you can expect to spend around 30 minutes unlocking this following my guide and depending on which challenges you choose to do in which order. And the second, for 40 points, typically taking around an hour to unlock, will be the MG3. So we've got a pair of MGs there, and that is another hard to find car. Moving over to the series, right over here, the Lunar New Year update. These can be unlocked by obtaining a load of points across the whole series, so all 4 seasons or weeks. You'll of course need a certain amount of points out of the total for each week to work towards these rewards. So for example, if you get 20 points each week, that'll enable you to get 80 points for the series, and 40 points every week will enable you to get 160 points for the series. Obviously that's only a rough guide as to what you'll need to do, and it depends on how much you play each season. So for 80 points then, we have the Hyundai Ioniq 6 from 2022, the first of 2 electric cars here, and for 160 points we have the second electric car, the Chinese electric hypercar, the Neo EP9. To begin our chronological section by section workthrough of this week's playlist, we'll first take a look at the Forzathon section, which covers 1 Forzathon weekly challenge, 7 daily challenges releasing across the week, and a Forzathon shop to spend your well-earned points. To start, we have the weekly Forzathon challenge, this week called All Round Drifter. Completing this will get you 5 seasonal points and also some Forzathon points. This will be 80 points as standard, doubling to 160 points if you own the La Casa Solariga player house, which comes free with the VIP pass. Owning this also grants you double Forzathon points in any Forzathon related event, including Horizon Arcade, where Forzathon points are your reward for completing each round. I therefore highly recommend that you purchase this house, especially if you'd like to spend your points in the shop. Moving to the chapters, the first one requires you to own and drive the 2000 Nissan Silvia Spec R. It is important to note that this car is required for all of the chapters in the weekly challenge unless there is a choice of cars. Once in your car, you may wish to download a tune, which is completely optional, but I would recommend it if you want to make your life easier when completing this challenge. So if you wish to download mine, I have created one as always, and in fact I've created 2, and they are both shared under my gamertag, so feel free to search them up and apply them to your car before moving on to the subsequent chapters. So one of them is called Forzathon Street, and the other one is called Forzathon Drift, and that is reflective of the challenges that we'll be asked to do when we complete this weekly challenge, which you'll see in just a second. Once you are ready with your car, you may proceed to Chapter 2. Force Sylvia. All you need to do for this is win a street race. So very simple, you need to make sure that you of course finish in first place, which is to win it, so it can't be accepted if you come anywhere else in the race, including on the podium. You do have to win this, but to make your life easier you can turn down the difficulty all the way down to tourist if you wish to do so, and that will mean that the AI are much slower, and obviously that will increase your chances of winning even if you and perhaps mess up 1 or 2 times during the race, because there is no set difficulty that you need to use for this Forzathon, unlike some of the later challenges that we'll come to in the playlist. So simply filter your map to street racing, enter any street race event, make sure you win it, and then you'll be able to move on to Chapter 3. And Chapter 3 is called Shift into Action. For this one, all you need to do is earn 5 ultimate drift skills. So drift skills work in the way, they kind of work in a sequence. So first of all, you'll start with a drift, then it'll be great drift, then awesome drift, and finally ultimate drift. So ultimate drift is what is required for this, and you need 5 of them. So and my suggestion for this one is that you head to some roundabouts. So there's roundabouts at either end of the highway, or perhaps you could also do this in the stadium, because there's nothing in the stadium at the moment, so you might be able to do that. Although saying that, I've just realised there is stuff in the stadium, so maybe you won't be able to do that. However, it is a drift track in the stadium, so maybe you can make use of that. But if you want to make your life easier, I'd probably recommend you go to one of the roundabouts. That way you can keep it going. Hopefully there won't be too many AI getting in your way, and you can just hold the drift for as long as possible. I'm hoping that it also will count E-drift, so E-drift is of course where you use the handbrake or the e-brake to get started, and then you kind of drift after that, whereas a drift is just kind of natural flow of the car. But keep sliding around the roundabout. Once you've got one skill, you can maybe stop and then start again to make sure that it counts it as separate things. And hopefully, once you've got 5 of them ultimate drift skills, you'll be able to move on to the final chapter to round off the weekend challenge, which is called Drift Legend. And for this one, all you need to do is earn 5 stars at drift zones. So very simple. Filter your map to drift zones on the map, and then just pick any of them. You can pick multiple if you want, or you can use the same one. Obviously the maximum you can get on one run is 3 stars, so if you get 3 stars, you'll then only need to get 2 stars after that. However, if you get 3 stars and then 3 stars, even though that'll be 6 stars, it'll still count it, so you don't need to get blob on 5 stars. Of course, if you get less than 3 stars, you may need to do more than 2 runs. However, it shouldn't take you too long at all. I'd probably recommend that you use a shorter drift zone, because then you're not going to be drifting for as long. So if you want to use, for example, the one at the main Horizon Festival, Giro Encavado, I think it's something like that. That one only requires 30,000 points. It's a nice short drift zone just round the corner. Then you can do that a couple of times, earn your 5 stars, and once you have done so, a bunch of Forzathon points and your 5 points towards the festival playlist will be yours. Next up in the primary section of the festival playlist is the daily challenges. I usually don't spend too much time on these due to them generally being fairly self-explanatory. However, there are definitely cases where they can prove a little tricky, or perhaps something is unclear. Should this be the case with any of these this week, as I said earlier, just drop me a comment below or message me on Xbox or Discord, and I can offer any assistance that you need, be it tunes or anything else. Of course, one of them releases every day. There are 7 of them, and they each last for 7 days each, so 6 of them will overlap into summer of Series 31 as well, so you can always go back and complete them. After that, you don't need to complete them within the season. If they overlap, then they are still active and you'll be able to complete them. You can just go back in the festival playlist to find them, and as I said, let me know if you do need any help. To conclude our first section, we can now cast our attention to the shop, where we have a few things to splash our points on. So as always, there's 2 cars, there's a clothing item, a horn, and the rather pointless wheel spin and super wheel spin option. So the most notable candidates in here for you to buy are probably the cars, although I do also sometimes buy the horns as well. So the cars available this season, when it eventually loads, which may be in 3 years' time, or it may be soon if it decides that it knows that I'm recording, so it probably thinks it'll just hang around for a bit. So them cars are the Rimac Nevera from 2021. So it is essentially the Rimac Concept 2, however they've added it as the separate car, the Nevera. And then we have the number 64 Formula Drift Nissan 370Z, and that wraps up our Forzathon section. Following on from our first section, Forzathon events, we have the season events section, which this week covers the trial, 2 times EventLabs, 3 times seasonal PR Stunts, 2 times seasonal championships, and a Horizon tour. So as always, we'll start with the trial. For those of you who don't know, the way the trial works revolves around a co-op team system. So you are part of a team of up to 6 players, usually randoms unless you are part of a convoy. And if you choose to run with a convoy, make sure it is a maximum of 6 players, because you can't enter this event with any more than 6 players. So you can't have the usual convoy maximum of 12 players. Your team then has the aim of trying to defeat the opposing team of 6 driver tars set to unbeatable difficulty. So in order to do this, you must rack up points, which you do by overtaking the driver tars vehicles. However, they also get points for overtaking you and your team, so it requires a team effort to win. So try not to ram your teammates. You're actually not racing them, you're racing the driver tars in the set of races. Now for the event itself. This week's trial is called Career Opportunities. It will get you a huge 10 points towards your seasonal reward cars, plus the additional event completion reward of the DeBerti Tacoma TRD drift car. So the restriction to follow for this trial is B-Class Career, so there's not too many cars to choose from because it's practically just Hyundai, and half of them have been added in this update. In fact, more than half have been added in this update. So as I mentioned in the intro, I'll be offering car and tune suggestions for each event we go through. So let's do what we usually do. Take a look at the cars I've prepared, which I've favorited for the benefit of me and for the speed of the video in my garage. So here we are in my virtual garage, and for this event I have 2 cars and their tunes to showcase. So firstly off, we have the 2019 Hyundai Veloster N, version 1 of the Veloster N, because it's the same car that I'm using for 2 of them actually. I've just realised that, even though I created the tunes, I've just realised that, because obviously I created the tunes the other day. So the reason I went with this one is because, as I just mentioned a few seconds ago in the previous recording, most of the Korean cars, i.e. the Hyundais, have been added in this update. They're all exclusives, so I didn't really want to use them. I wanted to use the one that's available to the most people, which is the Veloster N that's in the auto show for 30,000 credits. So this first tune here, with drag tyres, is the one that I used for the PR Stunts last week. So if you watched last week's video, you'll have seen this tune and potentially even used it as well. So it is focused on power. I probably wouldn't recommend it for the trial and for a race event, which is why I've created the other one. However, if you've already got it installed, you might want to use it, challenge yourself, and then feel free. However, the other one is the 2019 Hyundai Veloster N again, but version 2. So this one's running rally tyres, so they'll both have different names. One of them will probably be called PR Stunts, and the other one, the Trial Road, or B700 Road, something like that. I can't remember exactly. So it's got less power, 300 horsepower. However, it's more of a fairly balanced build, so it's plenty of power, whilst also being decently controllable and comfortable with the corners. So I would probably recommend the latter one for that one. Next up on the agenda is a selection of community EventLabs events that the developers have selected to feature here. So we've got 2 of them to work through this week. So let's get cracking. Hope they're a good pair of EventLabs. So the first one this week comes from Speed King 555. It is called the Coast View Circuit, and I would say it's kind of a track-based event lab for this one. So it will get you 3 points towards the festival playlist, as well as a super wheel spin, and the restriction for this one is S1 class modern supercars. So let's head over to my garage for the next set of favoured cars. Remarkably, I have actually got 6 suggestions for you for this one. Again, similarly to last week, I can't remember what the restriction was, but S1 Modern Supercars seems to be one of my most tuned categories. So we'll start off with the 2016 Audi R8 V10 Plus. Haven't driven this one for a while. I didn't think it was very good because I think it was more focused on straight line speed. However, the handling and the braking stats seem to suggest otherwise, so I've included it anyway. Then we have one that is certainly more cornering focused, and that is the 2017 Ford GT. Really good on the brakes as well for that one. Moving over, if you have the car pass and wish to use one from the car pass, we've got the 2020 Lamborghini Huracan Evo. Then we have the Nissan GT-R Black Edition R35 in 2012. I've got quite a few tunes here for this one, I believe, so make sure you pick the one that's for road with 658 horsepower. That's an easy way to identify it, by the horsepower stats. Then we have a Purist build, for those of you that want Purist. The 2010 Noble M600, I really enjoy driving this one. Rear wheel drive, and even though it only seems like it's got 650 horsepower, the straight line speed is really impressive. We have the 2014 Porsche 911 Turbo S, definitely more of a balanced build for those of you that want one of them. And that wraps up my S1 Modern Supercars. The second and final event lab this week comes from Subi156. This one's actually on EventLab Island, and it is called District 17 Sewer Racers. And again, I'm not really sure what this is, but I'm assuming it's some kind of track-based event lab for this one. So it'll get you 3 points towards the playlist and a red car t-shirt for anybody that might want that, certainly not me. And the restriction for this one actually combines two categories. It's A-Class Modern Rally and it's A-Class Rally Monsters. Slight downgrade, as I've just the 4 suggestions for this one, however hopefully that'll be plenty. So we have the Hoonigan Escort RS Cosworth V2O, or version 2, Cosy V2, whatever you want to call it. So probably not one of my favourites, however I included it for those of you that wanted to use it. Then we have the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution X Welcome Pack version, so I haven't done anything to this one, so this is the standard Forza tune on the Welcome Pack Evo 10. Then we have the Opel Manta 400, that one is my tune, and I quite like it. It's nice and lively, it's definitely my style. And then finally, right over at the end here, we have the 2004 Subaru Impreza WRX STI, not with a wing. I can't remember the justification for that when I created the tune, however it's really good in straight line, it's really light, and it's just general fun. I love the Subarus, so if you want to use that one, it's there, shared under my game tag. Following on from our event labs, we now have some seasonal PR stunts, probably a fan favourite section of the video due to the gameplay I show, which often includes some failed attempts, so a bit iffy there, but regardless, we always get them completed, and it's usually just me being a bit silly, so don't worry too much about them being too difficult. So anyway, let's get straight into what is required for these stunts. So there are 3 of them this week, and they will each get you 2 points towards the playlist and a super wheel spin. Our events this week are the drag strip, the Estadio, and the Federal Highway speed trap. So they're all speed traps this week, and the restriction for all of them is S2 class Rimac. So we've mentioned before that the Nevera is in the Forzathon shop, and then there's also the Concept 2 as well, which is practically the same car, but just the older one pictured in the top 2 thumbnails there, and that one is the Nevera. So I have chosen to go with the Concept 2 for this one, purely because I believe that it's slightly faster than the Nevera, even though the Nevera is newer. I'm not sure what the customization is like because I've never really driven it. However, I already had a tune for the Concept 2, which is the one that I've got in the Duracell paint job here. So this is one is shared under my gamer tag with all the 10s apart from off-road, but it is a race tune, so I thought I think it is capable of the restriction, the highest restriction for these PR stunts, which I believe you need 280 mile an hour for the Federal Highway speed trap. But I erred on the side of caution, and I created another tune, this time with drag tyres. And I've made sure that it's got no aero on it. I've tried to go for the maximum top speed, and I do believe that it goes around 290 miles an hour, so that one should be shared under 290 mile an hour PR stunts, I believe, and then the other one will be shared under S2 class race or championship or something like that. So up to you which one you choose to go for. I shall now roll the clips as per the standard of these videos, so hopefully I don't fail any. Hopefully I get my run-ups right, and you'll be able to see what I tend to do when I attempt these PR stunts. Moving away from the interesting department of seasonal PR stunts, we have 2 seasonal championships to attack. These can be completed either in solo or co-op mode, although if you are completing with a convoy, avoid the PvP option, as that means only one of you will receive the award, which of course you don't want, because you want both of you to get the reward, or more of you to get the award, however many there are in the convoy. So playing solo will mean that you'll spawn back into free roam after each event. That may be a bit confusing. Some people think they've been kicked out of the convoy, but what you actually have to do is you have to drive or fast travel to each of the other events, which will be marked in a white and red colour on your map. So they'll change from this colour, so you can see it's kind of red and white, and it'll kind of switch to be white and red, so you'll be able to tell which races are in the current championship. So you'll spawn back out into free roam. You won't have been kicked from the championship, you'll just need to do it again. However, if you do it in co-op, it'll automatically fast travel you and your teammates to each event, and it'll work the same way as the trial. So these championships should be locked to highly skilled driver tire difficulty though, as opposed to unbeatable. This week's first seasonal championship is called Holden a Minute. It will get you 5 points towards your festival playlist rewards, and also a number 530 HSV Maloo drift car. So it is based on dirt racing, and the restriction for this one is A-Class Holden and A-Class HSV, so they're just Australian manufacturers there. So you know exactly where we're heading now, don't you? That's right, we are going over to my garage, and I am there now, and for this one I have only got the one suggestion, and it is the Holden Tirana A9X. Now I do believe that this is some kind of meta or off-meta car, so it may not be one of the world record cars. However, I believe that it is still relatively competitive. I'm not sure what class and on what type of race. However, my tune probably not going to be OP. However, I've tried to make it as controllable and easy to drive as possible. So it's running off-road tyres, all-wheel drive, and it's got a 6.2 litre V8 in it, so plenty of power whilst also being really light as well. And I've decided to put a nice livery on it as well of the Horizon Festival. The Spring Season Championship number 2, a sit-up and take Lotus, will get you 5 points towards the festival playlist and a Caterham R500. This one is based on road racing, and the restriction is A-Class Lotus, hence the name. A few more suggestions than last time, although still only 2 for this one. So first off, we have the 1999 Lotus Elise Series 1. So that one, I've made it a bit of a purist build. However, it's also really grippy as well. So it's kind of purist, but it's not a power build for sure. It's fairly controllable. It's obviously really, really light, less than 700 kilograms. And it's got the same horsepower as torque in Newton meters rather than foot-pounds. So that's the car to use if you want a nice purist car. It's really, really nice to drive and really good overall. However, if you want an all-wheel drive tune, fair enough. And for that one, I've got the 2012 Lotus Exige S. So both of those are shared under my gamertag. Finally, for the season events section, to finish up this second section of the festival playlist, we have a Horizon Tour Co-op Championships to complete. And for the third time, I think that for the last 3 times that it's been in the playlist, it will get you 8 points. I'm not really sure why they decided to make it 8 points, because all you have to do is complete the championship. You don't have to win it or anything like that. So I don't really know why you get so many points for completing it, but it's a great way to get 8 points towards the playlist. You get 10 points from the trial, 8 points from Tour, and you're almost at your 20-point reward after 2 events. So for this one, all you need to do is enter any Horizon Tour Championship. So you can click on it here, I believe, or if you go over near the main festival, somewhere within the main festival to the, I think it's the northeast, you'll see the Horizon Tour icon, and you can go over there, and it's this building here that you can see, and by that building you can enter for Horizon Tour. It will give you a random restriction. It can be really, really random. It doesn't even have to be a usual filter in your garage or a Horizon Special. It can become something completely random. And all you need to do is pick a car from that category, complete the set of races, and you have the free roam rushes, if you can call them that. They're not called free roam rushes, however you drive between the races. So them bits aren't races, but you drive between the races. And once you've completed all of that, you'll get yourself 8 points. So it's very, very simple, and that is all you need to do for the Horizon Tour Co-op Championships. That wraps up our second section, season events, which means we can now progress over to the third section, challenges. Do note that these latter 3 sections are considerably shorter than the others, especially compared to the last section that we've just dealt with, so obviously these last 3 sections will be a lot quicker, meaning that it will not be as long for the length of the video. So anyway, cracking on, this challenges section this week covers a treasure hunt and a photo challenge, so there's only 2 challenges in the challenges section for us to plough through this week. We will, of course, start with the first challenge, which is the treasure hunt. This season, it is called a falcon among flamingos, and once you've successfully smashed through the chest, you'll have earned yourself 3 points and 300 Forzathon points to splash out on something nice. So for this event, the way I work through this is primarily to take a look at the treasure clue, then I will complete it myself to unlock the chest location clue, and then I will show you the exact location of the chest if you have any issues finding it. So I do have to say as a disclaimer that if you don't want to see the exact location of the chest and you prefer to find it yourself, then do be warned that you will either have to pause the video and go ahead and find it yourself, or you can skip to the next event of the video, of course being the photo challenge, if you aren't planning on completing it at the time of watching. So you can, of course, listen to me breaking it down first, but then once I am going to show you the chest location, if you don't want to see it, then of course make sure that you click off for that part of the video. So our clue for the treasure hunt this week is as follows. Head to Cascadas de Agua Azul, place Falcon in frame in front of the pool. Taking a picture is what I'd advise. Doing this right will win you the prize. Now you may be wondering, what car do I need to use? Well, it's in the picture and it's mentioned in the clue as well, the Ford Falcon. Now I believe we only have one in this game, and it's the 1972 Ford Falcon, and I believe that it's either yellow or green stock. I will double check that in a second. And all you'll need to do for this is take a photo in front of the waterfall at Cascadas de Agua Azul. So I will head over there on the map in just a second, but all you need to do is park your car in front of it, as you can see on this thumbnail here of the treasure hunt. And then you'll just need to open up photo mode and take a photo, making sure that part of your Ford Falcon and part of the waterfall is in the photo. And I'm hoping that is all you'll need to do. I'll double check that now, and then I'll show you the exact location of the chest. So, as it turns out, there's actually 2 Ford Falcons that we have in the game. There's the 1972 Ford Falcon XA that I am in here. That is the green one, the stock, which is 80,000 in the auto show. Then there's the 1973 one, which is a festival playlist exclusive, and that one is yellow. So I got the colours right, but I just got them a bit mixed up there. So I've gone with the 1972 one, and then you'll need to head over to this location on the map. So if you filter to landmarks, all of these names will pop up on the map, and it actually says it here, but you need to go down to this road here because that'll enable you to be on the correct side of the waterfall. And as I said, open up photo mode, take a photo like this, and then I will show you the clue. And what will happen is, it will say treasure challenge completed, and then you'll have another clue in your festival playlist as to where the chest is located. It'll show a picture, and then of course you can go ahead and find it, and it'll work similarly to the way that barn finds work. And for those of you that require it, this is the exact location of the treasure chest. Once you smash through it, you'll get yourself 300 Forzathon points. So it's right here by San Sebastian. Smash right through it, and like I said, you'll get yourself 300 Forzathon points and 3 points towards the festival playlist. Succeeding that treasure hunt, we have a rather simple photo challenge. Obviously the treasure hunt included a photo as well. However, we have a photo challenge which does not require a specific location, and I think last week's didn't require a location as well. So this week it is #DriftLife, and it wants you to take a photo of any Formula Drift car. Doing so will get you 2 points and a Forza Link reward, License to Skill, which is of course a play on License to Kill there, the James Bond film, I believe. So, very simple, getting any Formula Drift car. It is a manufacturer in your garage. Getting any Formula Drift car, open up photo mode, take a photo wherever you want. If you want to make it fancy, by all means, go for it. Or you can just take it wherever you are. You know, you've finished the treasure hunt, open up photo mode, take a photo. Very, very simple, and it will get you 2 points and that Forza Link reward. Pressing on, we will now take a look at the penultimate section of the festival playlist, which is the monthly events, or essentially Series 30's monthly rivals challenges, which, as the name suggests, last for the whole month and can be completed in any of the weeks of the month. So you'll only have to complete them once, so whichever week you choose to do them in, that is completely up to you, and it'll complete them for all of the weeks in the month. So I will cover them in each week's video, so don't worry about that. Of course, for this series, this is the last opportunity, or this week is the last opportunity opportunity to complete Series 30s. However, once we move into Series 31, it'll of course be the first week, and then you'll have all 4 weeks to complete them. So I'll just quickly explain how the points for these monthlies work. So as you can see, you'll get 4 points for each of them. I've completed all of them, so you actually can't see that, but you get 4 points for completing each of them. That is the monthly total, and therefore that will be added onto your series points count over on the far left there when you've completed each of them, and then that'll be split into 4 to cover the 4 seasons, so you'll actually get 1 point added onto each week's seasonal points total. But obviously with them being 4 events this month, that means that once you've done them all, you'll get 16 points added onto your series and 4 points added onto each week's seasonal total. So hopefully that makes sense, and it may seem a bit complicated at first, but once you've done it for yourself, I'm sure you'll understand it. So this month we have 4 rivals challenges, as I've said, and the objective is the same for all of them. However, you do of course have to complete each one separately, and hence completing one won't automatically do the trick for all of them. So that objective is simply to post a clean lap. See, it sounds very simple, and it is very simple, as long as you make sure that you don't do any of these 3 things, and they are hitting walls or any other non-destructible objects, using rewind, and missing checkpoints or getting your car reset in some other way. Any of those will flag your lap, leaving an exclamation mark next to your time, and that means it will not count as it is a dirty lap. So to avoid those things, just cruise around at a nice controllable pace. You'll have no problems, and you don't have to beat your rival either, so it doesn't matter who you're up against. So once you've posted a clean lap, you can quit the event, and it should have turned gold in your festival playlist. Do that for all 4 of them, and you'll have all of them completed, and that will complete the monthly events section. Latterly, for our festival playlist sections, we round out the spring season by checking out the week's expansion events, which, as you might expect, covers those on the Hot Wheels expansion and the Rally Adventure expansion. Needless to say, you are required to own both of these expansions to access their respective events, and you must additionally reach a certain specified point in their career modes to be granted access to these exclusive expansion festival playlist events. So to be specific, on the Hot Wheels expansion you must unlock the S2 class tier in the campaign, which you'll see how that works when you actually work through it. It works through it in classes, so you're only allowed to use cars from certain classes, and once you reach S2 you'll unlock them. And in the Rally Adventure expansion you must also play through some of the initial gameplay, not quite sure how much, but after you've done some of it, you'll be able to start tackling the weekly events. So if you don't own these expansions and wish to give them a go, you can purchase them as part of the premium add-ons bundle, the expansions bundle, or the Rally Adventure expansion can be purchased on its own if you so wish. Now to quickly run through their events before we finish. So we have a PR stunt and a championship for each expansion. So starting with the Rally Adventure, this week's stunt is the Devil's Pass Drift Zone, and it requires S1 class Liberty. So it will earn you 2 points in a super wheel spin like the ones on the main map. So for this one, the car that we mentioned, I think it's in the Forzathon shop, is it? Or was it, sorry, no, it was a reward for the trial. So the Liberty Tacoma, which is pictured at the front of that picture there, that is the car that I have got, and I've got a tune for it shared under my gamer tag Shylo 2017, so if you search that up, that will be the one that you can use for that one. And then the seasonal championship on the Rally Adventure expansion is Honda Road again. Obviously it is based on road racing, or the road element of the Rally Adventure expansion. It will get you 5 points and a white logo t-shirt. And the restriction for this one is C-Class Honda Civic. So I've got a tune for the 2004 Honda Civic, which is the one that's pictured firstly there in white. And then I've also got a tune to suggest on the 1997 Civic Type R, and that tune comes from Izzumnizzum. I think that's how you pronounce that. So I will put the gamer tag for that in the description of the video if you wish to use it. Moving over to the Hot Wheels expansion, the drift zone for this one is Water's Edge. Same restriction, S1 class Liberty, and that will get you another 2 points in a super wheel spin. And the seasonal championship on the Hot Wheels expansion is Waiting for the Drop. This is on Hazard events. It will get you 5 points and a 2002 Chevrolet Corvette. And the restriction for this one is the A-Class Unlimited Off-Road. We see this nearly every week. This time it's on the expansion events. However, I think it pretty much features in either EventLabs, Championship, etc. every week. So you're probably familiar with what cars I've got for that one. But if you're not, then I do have the Jeep Trailcat. We've got the Ford Brocky, we've got the Polaris from Turnpurse 2, again I'll put the gamer tag for that in the description, and we also have the Extreme E that I've got a tune on, the one that's in the auto show, so that's the number 99 Chip Ganassi version. However, they are basically all the same. The conclusion of the expansion events means we have reached the end of this week's festival playlist, and so also the end of this full guide. We've also reached the end of Series 30 Lunar New Year, so let's see what European Automotive brings, which is Series 31 starting on the 29th of Feb there. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Your support truly means the world to me, and it is such a motivating factor in me putting hours into these videos every week. Because trust me, it is a lot of time of effort, but hopefully my tunes, tips and tricks and everything else from today's video will help you to blast through this week's events with ease. But of course, let me know if you need any further advice. If you enjoyed and would like to see these videos every week plus other content and live streams, do not hesitate to click the like and subscribe buttons and turn your notifications on for alerts when I next upload or go live. Also, check the community section often for posts with important info regarding the videos and content, and occasional polls and quizzes as well that I like to put in there. So, thank you very much for watching again, and I will see you next week with another full festival playlist walkthrough for Series 31 Summer. Bye!